Good morning and welcome to the Watchman News. So I guess I'm going to jump on the what did we learn from the winter storm bandwagon.
All aboard!
So anyway, basically this is my issue. This is the thing that I've really been harping about a lot, and that is putting your head into your preps instead of just your wallet. Probably a good idea. As you know, there's been a plethora of videos, especially from the prepper community, about what did I learn from this winter storm? And you know what? It shouldn't have been a whole lot. It shouldn't have been a whole lot. Not for those of us that's been doing this for a while. And see, this is where I'm having a bit of an issue when you have the blind leading the blind. Okay? This is exactly what I've been talking about. So if you watch any channels that claim to be experienced preppers and they're sitting there telling you about all the things that they learned from this winter storm, you might want to pick a little better channels to pay attention to. Just saying. Folks should have already known. Okay, so I'm going to cover, first of all, we'll talk a little bit about our cold here, and I've got a couple of little short video clips that I'm going to roll in to show you what we have to deal with here. But we live in a small home. It's roughly around 400 square foot, so it's not very big. It is a concrete slab home, so that means it has no crawl space, no basement, or anything like that. It's just a concrete slab. And we have concrete block walls. So, as far as keeping it warm, it's all good up to a certain point. Concrete does a real good job at conducting heat and temperature and stuff like that. So that in itself creates problems. But also, once it gets down to a certain degree, it becomes really hard to keep a concrete block, concrete slab home warm, because you got all that mass that once you reach that point that you can't keep that mass warm, now you're going to have some issues with heating. So, but did I learn that from this storm? No, I'm pretty sure I've known that for a long time. So let's talk about a little bit about the insulation or lack of insulation, I should say, in our home. So I'm going to show you a little bit here. One of the issues we have is condensation. Our walls sweat. Once it gets a certain temperature outside, gets below a certain temperature outside, our walls start to sweat. And the top part of our walls, and I'll roll another video clip in here, it's just like, and I'm not a construction person, so I guess it's some type of a plaster or something like that that's actually over the concrete block, and then it's just painted. But there is no insulation there. There is no, underneath that plaster is going to be a concrete block. So the only part that does have any insulation, I'll roll another clip in here, it's the lower part. The lower part of the walls. They have I think it's probably like 1/2 inch or something insulation board, something to that effect, and that's it. That is it. That is the only insulation other than the ceiling. That's the only insulation this home has. So again, once it gets down to a certain temperature, it becomes a little bit more of a bear to keep heated. So what did I learn from this? Right? That's what you're here for. What did I learn from this storm? Not much. I learned that if I turn that diesel heater up high enough, that it will actually, and it's my term, it will actually crack the air, and that causes a problem with my COPD and stuff like that. If it gets too dry, then my throat, it's like there's something just, I don't know, something real scratchy on the back of my throat, and it causes me to just completely just cough, and I can't stop coughing. It's just a constant thing, and I have to get into a little bit more humid of an environment before it gets better. Well, I actually turned that diesel heater, I turned it up high enough that it was doing that to the air. It was actually superheating or overheating the air, and drying it out to a point to where it was causing me issues with the coughing. Now, that's really the only thing I learned, is that sucker is mean enough that it can do that. And that's pretty impressive out of that little heater. So that's really all I learned. That's it. Now, is that all we relied on? Is that the only thing that we had to deal with? No, not at all. We actually used a series of different heaters in order to keep things under control. Once that night, there was that night that got below zero as far as the temperature, and then of course the wind chill was just insane with all of the high winds and all of that stuff. And that night got cold. And, again, I could have cranked that diesel heater up, but I already knew it was going to dry out the air enough to cause me a problem. So I didn't. In fact, what I decided to do was use a combination of heat. I used the diesel heater, I used our electric heaters, and then I actually even turned on the regular furnace, but I turned it kind of down low, and that way it would help take the nip out of the air a little bit more. So that one night that got real super cold, yeah, we used a combination of heaters. Now, would we have survived if we just had the diesel heater and that's it? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I might not have been. Here's the thing. I'm going to explain the fix to it after I explain, the issue. It would have been uncomfortable if I had no way to deal with the humidity. So it would have been uncomfortable if I would have, been impossible after a certain point to turn that heater up that high, because it would superheat that air, and what I call cracking the air, it would dry it out so much that I would start having problems with coughing. So, but we could have turned it down a little bit and it would have been fine. We wouldn't have froze to death, but we would undoubtedly be a little chilly, right? Just layer up some clothing and you'd be fine, no big deal. However, there is a way to skin this cat, and all you have to do is take anything. I've got 1 million empty coffee containers, so that works. A bucket works, anything that'll hold water. And you just put water in it, right? And then not right up against the heater, but, probably, say 2-3 feet in front of the heater. You just hang that, whatever method you can find to hang that towel, and you let that towel hang down in that vessel of water that you have, and it will wick, right? Because physics, it will wick up, and it will, humidify the air. Sorry, I was looking for the right form of the word. It will humidify the air for you, right? So really a non-issue. If it would have came down to that's the only heater we would have had, and I would have had to turn it up high, yeah, I would have just hung a towel down into a little tub of water, and that would have been the end of that. It would humidify the air as well as keep the air nice and warm, and it'd have been a done deal. So again, I'm at a loss here. I am really, truly at a loss here when it comes to these prepper channels. You should have known this stuff ahead of time, right? And this is not anything against somebody that just got into prepping, that's just now learning or anything like that. No, I'm talking about these dedicated, the ones that'll tell you about how I don't know anything, but yet they're on here telling you about all the stuff they learned from this storm. Huh. Imagine that. But I'm the dumbass, right? So, folks, use discernment. And, as far as the heating goes, I still cannot recommend a diesel heater enough. I can't. Right now, it's in there running, right? Let me look. Okay, the thermometer on the little half-wall thingy we've got says 79 degrees. I don't really trust it as being absolutely accurate, but I will say it's not far from that. And I've got this heater right now. Let me get the screen to come up here and then get the right page of the screen, and then I'll try to get it in frame. I don't know if it's going to focus, if you're going to be able to see that, but it's running at 2.1 hertz. It's not even 50%, right? 31 degrees outside right now. I've got that heater running at 2.1%, and a lot of people would probably consider this extremely warm in here. Too warm for their liking because, hey, I like warm, yo. So, I can't recommend the diesel heaters enough. What did I learn? I learned if I turned it up high enough, it'd dry the hell out of the air and cause me to cough and have issues. That's it. That's it. Would I have been screwed if I would have came across that whenever the time needed? No, I would have just hung a towel into a vessel of water and let it humidify the air. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's one thing just to add a bunch of stuff to the cart and say, oh, look what I've got. But it's another thing to have enough knowledge before the situation that you don't wind up with your titty in a wringer, or worse than that, frostbitten. So, hey, it is what it is, folks. If you learn lessons from this, and again, if it's somebody that's just starting out in prepping or somebody that's just not used to the cold or whatever the case may be, fine. Learn from what you can. But please, folks, I beg you, you've got a lot of channels out there that even tell you the nonsense about the tea light candles and the clay pot and all that stuff. Please don't listen to these people. That's a good way to get yourself killed. It's, it's nuts. It's really, really nuts, the different quote-unquote information that's out there. And the sad fact is anybody like myself that tries to come out and be realistic with you, somebody that don't stand, not looking to profit off of you, somebody that just wants to help you, that truly wants to help you, we're the ones that get persecuted. We're the ones that get called out as being the bad ones, right? Enough's enough. These hypocrites in the prepping community that talk about how much they want to help other people. How many of them talk about how they wouldn't make videos if YouTube demonetized them? How many of them say that they wouldn't make videos if they didn't have a Patreon supporting the content being made? We're still not getting anything from YouTube, by the way. We're still not. In fact, I'll show you this right now. We're not getting a damn thing from YouTube's. Right? So, right there, you will see goose egg. Goose egg. Yeah, we're still not getting nothing. Even though that the problem was fixed, we're still not getting a penny. So, I'm not here for the money, man. I'm here because I want to help you. I'm here because I gave the Father my word I would do this in order to help people. That's why I'm here. You need to check out the motives of the individuals that are trying to provide you with quote-unquote information. You really got to think about their motives. One of the channels that did the Bandwagon video today, the first video right before the storm they did was demeaning people for being concerned about the storm, right? And all of a sudden, whenever it started to come out that, people were dying from the cold temperatures, then the walking back started, right? It's ridiculous. It's really, really, really bad. It's ridiculous. And people's lives are at risk with this stuff. This is AP News just today. Western New York death toll rises to 27 from cold and storm chaos. This is Western New York. I don't know what the total is across the country. This is just Western New York. So if you were one of those channels out there talking about, people, you need to apologize to all of the family members of these people that were lost. Just because you were okay doesn't mean the world was okay. It is so frustrating. It is so frustrating. I mean, I don't know what to tell folks. It's important, very important, to be prepared. It's very important to use this, and I don't carry a wallet. I don't have a wallet on me. To use this before you use the wallet. I don't imaginary wallet. Use your head. learn, research, know. You know, a lot of things could have been known if people would have actually, tested their stuff. The same people that are on YouTube telling you about how you need to actively test your stuff and use your preps and do the things, right? And I'm not speaking of Bear when I'm talking about this, even though he's the one that says do the things. But there's a lot of other people that copy that off of him too. So, it's... Folks, use discernment. Because when it comes down to it, some of this stuff can cost people their lives. Some of this stuff, some of this advice given by these individuals are extremely dangerous ideals. Like tea light candles in a clay pot. Dumb idea. Dumb idea. Look, folks. Preparedness isn't a game. Preparedness shouldn't be a profit model for a bunch of grifters. Preparedness, you hear them say it. You hear them say that it's a lifestyle. Well, if it was that much of a lifestyle, then I guess they'd do it for nothing. Oh, that's right, they won't. Imagine that. Do what you need to stay warm. Be safe at it. Please consider the diesel heaters. They work absolutely incredible. I'm not going to put a link. If you want to go in the description, use my Amazon affiliate link to go buy a diesel heater, fine, great. I'm not putting a link. Not putting a link. If you got any questions, you want to know what diesel heater I recommend, put it in the comments. Any questions, put it in the comments. All I want to do is help. This is a man coming here, not making money off of doing this, telling you I want to help. What could my, ulterior motive be? Well, the ulterior motive is I don't want to be on the bad side of the Father, and I gave him my word I would do this. Yeah. So, I guess that's it. I want to help, and I want to do what I promised the Father. Seems evil, doesn't it? Shalom.